Hey, folks, and welcome to the Daily Ratings Podcast. It's a show where each week we're going to be sitting down with Vincent Daly to get his thoughts on the latest movies he's been watching, both older films and new releases. And don't worry, there's no spoilers. Vince will give a brief review of the movie, share some thoughts, and of course, then rate the film. The daily ratings are always fair, honest, and most importantly, they're consistent. On today's show, Vince will be rating and reviewing. We have all in-theaters movies for you this week, folks. So we are covering Sisu, Road to Revenge, directed by Halimari Hollander. We're then covering A Rental Family by a director named Hikari. And then finally, we have our Ruby Reds on because we are covering Wicked: For Good. And that's directed by John M. Chu. So let's get Vincent Daly in the room, hear what he has to say about these movies. Stay tuned and enjoy the show. Mr. Vincent Daly, how are we doing across the table, my friend?
Thomas, how's it going?
It's going okay for me. Happy Turkey Day. Happy Thanksgiving to you, my friend.
Yep. We're recording this on the cop's favorite holiday, day before Thanksgiving. So hopefully
cop's favorite holiday?
Oh, yeah, because everyone has off for Thanksgiving, so everyone drinks. And
Interesting. I never heard it before. Never heard it before.
Biggest drinking holiday, day before Thanksgiving.
No, it is not, is it?
Yeah, it's one of them. Yeah.
Wow. Actually, I do believe that.
Yeah. So hopefully I don't get picked up. Hopefully I don't get clipped on the way home.
I think you'll be good. Vin brought over not a cocktail for me, but a whole apple pie.
A whole pie!
Which I really appreciate, actually. I will be digging into that soon, actually, as soon as we wrap up here. But how was your week? We have 3 different movies.
Yeah, all over the globe
nothing's alike
on this one.
Yes,
we go from Finland to Japan to Oz. Yeah, I don't know. Really, there's almost nothing tying this together other than
they're new.
It's new. 3 new movies.
All in theaters.
Yeah. I was going to try to talk about some trailers, but I feel like all of it can just be summed up in the fact that we should make a tongue-in-cheek horror movie called Coming This January.
Yeah.
Because, I feel like we could make, a meta, somewhat, comedy horror around that concept because there's some
all the
real
shit
trash.
comes out. It's crazy. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
It's bleeding into February, too.
Well, I mean, it's called Dumpuary, and that's usually January and February.
Yeah.
Now, I contest that next year is going to be better than this year, and even it's even going to start out better than the beginning of this year, too. Because we were rough for 4 months.
Yeah.
But already in February, I mean, yes, we have that monkey horror movie. There's horror movies, but there's a Glenn Powell movie. There's that Wuthering Heights film, which you said you're somewhat excited about.
Crime 101, Chris Hemsworth, and What's-Her-Face. We have Sam Raimi doing that, Stranded on an Island movie.
With What's-Her-Face and What's-His-Face.
Yeah. What's-Her-Face.
I like both Rachel McAdams.
Yeah, maybe Rachel McAdams deserves a little bit more than What's-Her-Face.
I actually like that other guy, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay,
I actually like him. I'm not excited for the movie, but
Right. It's just very weird that, it actually goes back to our last Wizard of Oz episode where it's like, Sam Raimi, what are you doing with, the projects? He did Oz the Great and Powerful.
Oh, that's weird.
I was just like, what are you doing, Sam Raimi? We know what you live in, what realm of movies you live in.
Okay, so we'll see. I just think there's going to be a little bit more nuggets than last year. It was like a desert island. That was a desert island for us.
Flight Risk.
Presence, like the worst from Soderbergh.
Yeah, that was so bad.
Wait, what's that, Soderbergh?
Yeah. No,
that was okay. All right.
Unfortunately, I really wish it could be scrubbed from his record.
But okay, so we have Sisu, Rental Family, and Wicked. Did I even say the director's name right for Sisu? Is the J an H?
I actually was going to give you credit to that because I was like, I don't know.
We ran into this when we covered the first Sisu movie.
Yeah.
Because it looks like Jalmari with a J. But I think for whatever reason, I'm just going Halmari.
Yeah.
For no reason. But it just seems like in my...
That just sounds loosely Finnish,
right. And then a director we haven't covered with Rental Family, like going. I don't think it's a pseudonym, but
Yeah.
Hikari.
Yep.
Just Hikari is the director. She's
just
known.
got one name. Yeah, it's like a Zendaya type of thing, you know?
Okay, but she was born. Come on now. She had a name
Oh, no,
at
she
one
is
point.
born. Yeah, she was born as, like, I think it's actually Miyazaki or something like that. So.
Okay, Zendaya?
No!
Oh, Hikari.
Zendaya, much more exotic than we ever expected.
But Hikari, she's a younger female director, and she directed 3 episodes from the Netflix show Beef.
Yes.
Which, good show. I liked it.
Oh, really? You watch Beef? Okay.
I the main guy I really like.
Yeah,
Who's in it?
Stephen Yeun.
Stephen Yeun, yeah.
Yeah.
He's great. But anyway, and then she did another movie that people really like. I think it's called Tokyo Vice or something like that.
No, Tokyo Vice, another show. Actually
what I'm
connected to
saying.
Michael Mann, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
I believe Michael Mann's a producer on Tokyo Vice.
He's all about the vices, huh?
Yeah,
He's doing Miami Vice.
Right, yeah, Miami Vice.
But no, yes, I know that's a show, and she did a certain amount of episodes, and that has really good ratings.
Yeah.
Otherwise than that, and then we're back with Wicked already. It's like a year gone by. It's crazy.
I know, it really is. But yeah, I was excited to cover all of these movies in some capacity. I just think with Wicked, man. I'll say it in the review. I mean, this was a doozy. There was a lot of issues with Wicked. I mean, and I probably could have seen some of that coming down the pipeline with the first one. Mm-hmm. We definitely on that review commented about just like, why are they splitting this up? You know, what's going on here? But
for one of the I went back and listened to it. Just one of your first things was like, this should be one movie.
Yeah.
It's being stretched out way too much. It should be one movie.
Yep, and like 100% of that has come to like really hurt the movie.
But we'll get with that a little bit later. I have our order going in Sisu, then Rental, then Wicked. That's how I have it.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. So let's jump to Europe. This is Sisu, Road to Revenge. Look, man, the first movie was super small, barely did anything at the box office, but apparently it was good enough. And they gave it still a small budget for the second film, but I think it's getting a cult following.
Yeah.
And I told you a week or two ago that this has been getting, not buzz, but whoever is going to see it is giving it relatively high praise for kind of a no-name second film and an IP that's like whatever.
Exactly. And still feels pretty small scale, like that first one.
I'm sure it does. It does. But anyway, so Sisu Road to Revenge, what do we get? And tell us about it.
Well, I truly never would have guessed that we got a sequel to Sisu, especially since our lead actor was like already pretty old in that first one.
Right.
And already like you could see in, how the camera and the action was done was kind of making up for the fact of how old he was. But that first Sisu in 2022 was a solid movie. We gave it a 64 back then, with it mostly just serving as a fun gimmick to the John Wick or secret badass formula in action movies right now, and doing so by setting it in World War II. There's not really, many that are taking that secret badass formula and for an action flick and doing some time traveling with it. So that was I feel like Sisu's edge, but that's really not me throwing shade at it, comparing it to John Wick, because for, being a copycat movie or not, our returning director has spoken extensively of how the John Wick and the type of one-man action flick, one-man army action flick has really been like the core inspiration of why he wants to make movies at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So very interesting. Without a doubt, though, that first one worked because of the premise being dead simple, though. And I was worried a sequel would kind of mess that up, or at least dilute it. Luckily, this does not overcomplicate things at all. And has its priorities where they should be, and that's obviously in the action. Sisu Road to Revenge is the Finnish action flick that picks up with Jorma Tommila, our main actor, returning to his role as the physical embodiment of the untranslatable feeling of Sisu. It's 1946 now, with us swapping SS Nazi baddies with Soviet Reds, specifically one dusted-off rival played by Avatar's own Stephen Lang, who I will say I was going to shit on Lang a little bit. I feel like he does a decent job here. Yeah.
So these
I
are
feel
the
like
type
I have a beef with him with Avatar.
These are the type of movie. Well, he's a little bit B-grade army guy.
Oh,
kind of
for
always.
Sure. Yeah, if they
I like
made a
him in one
live-action
thing.
Small Soldiers, he would be like Major Chip Hazard. Like
Wow.
he would just slot them in there.
That's really funny because that's true. But also, even that, I feel like, I don't know, can we get somewhere more high class than that?
Right.
Not to shit on the guy. He was in when there was a fan-made film of Uncharted.
Oh, right.
And they actually got Nathan Fillion to do it. It was like 15 minutes long. He plays Sully, and he actually makes a fantastic Sully.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, yeah. Well, I'm glad he found the right spot for you.
Yeah.
Which is a small time,
just evil bad guy.
finished film.
Yeah. Dismantling a home he feared the worst for, Yorma now has to get his entire Lincoln Log cabin across a shifting border, and Russians and their borders. If Sisu was able to be translated to anything, it means determination above all else, and folks, it becomes pretty goddamn entertaining seeing a man determined to get a whole-ass house through hell. That's the movie. I mean, like the first one was like he finds some gold, and guess what? The Nazis want the gold.
Right.
This one is like, all right, we got to move a whole house. That's an interesting. I mean, like, let's keep us on the track for this plot. The only problem is, like, obviously he's going to get to the border, and the Russians are not going to let him transport this house. So that's what we're working with here. Something I praised that first movie for, though, was how it slightly felt a bit Tarantino-ish, whether it was like flashing chapter titles on screen or just having, hyper violence that dipped more than a toe into being campy. In that first movie, he flings a landmine at someone. There's a lot of stuff thrown out there that is just like, okay, it's so hyper violent, it's so gory. That's where it leans into being Tarantino as well. That's 100% here in this movie again. I will say, I just personally wanted to see a little bit more growth from our director. I wanted to see some sort of evolution, especially, taking the cult success, I should say, of the first one, and kind of running with it a little bit more. Regardless, action-wise, he's able to refresh things slightly by swapping out World War II for post-war set pieces, and has a lot of fun with it. He has a lot of fun with just, like, pulling out Russian USSR like little nods, whether it's the guns he uses or the type of things thrown at him. I want to be careful because it's only an hour and a half movie. I really can't dip too much into explaining the action pieces. Mainly, I think an evolution I do see is that it feels like he was studying Mad Max Fury Road a lot for this movie. That's where the road driving, right? Comes into Road and Revenge. It is basically
on the move, high pace.
Yeah. I mean, if the first one was one part John Wick, one part Tarantino, this is now adding to that soup Mad Max Fury Road.
Okay,
which is not a bad thing.
It's quite the pot. Like we like those ingredients.
Exactly. Right. Adding to that inspirations, there are just a lot of, kind of Road Warrior themed combat thrown into the mix, and I'm here for it. Having this plot circle around transporting an entire house is nuts already, but it really is great that it gives us an entirely new flavor to the action in the movie. There's still your same kind of up close, no one can stop him type of action, a one-man army action. But here it's like it's an extra level because there's some wild stuff pulled out just because he's like, I need to get a lot of logs, an impossible amount of logs across a distance. I said it back in my first review, though, back when we did 5 movies every single week, but I'm saying it again. Thank God for the runtime here.
Hour and a half.
Yeah,
which is what it should be.
Yeah, exactly.
There's not much going on. There's not enough of.
There's not a lot of dialogue. I mean, Sisu himself is silent for the entire movie.
Right, a la John Wick, sure.
Yeah.
And there's not enough of a cast to really make a longer movie.
Yeah, exactly. They try a little bit with creating the plot around, obviously, his rival, played by Stephen Lang. But the movie just doesn't outstay its welcome, and it's probably for the best because the little substance that we do get in these areas, I mean, it's really not anything special. Mm-hmm. If anything, it leans more into that Tarantino style, which in itself is just a B movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just B movie trends. So, without a doubt, though, I think these two films are near identical in quality and serves as kind of a side grade. If you like one, you're definitely going to have a recommendation from me to watch this one. Both kind of serve interchangeably for that reason. When it comes down to it, Road to Revenge is a sidestep for the better. but really no worse than that original as well. And once again, I just hope to see our director just evolve a little bit with his next project. We're going to go ahead and give Sisu Road to Revenge a 64. Okay. Matching 64.
Is it matching 64? It really is a sidestep.
Yeah. If anything, I mean, this is a better two-parter than Wicked.
Oh, that's
like two sides of the same story, you know?
Oh, that's good. I like that. Okay, wow, 64%. You could put these movies together, play them, and call it The Whole Bloody Affair.
Yes.
Which is what Tarantino's doing this weekend, actually. I think it's this weekend. Where finally he's able to get Kill Bill and Kill Bill, Volume 1 and 2 on screen, one showing, sit down. It's called Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair, which is cool.
That's great.
Okay, we headed to the movies this weekend to go see the next movie, which is Rental Family. Again, like we talked about, by this director named Hikari. And this was on my list just because it's Brendan Fraser, and it was getting somewhat towards the beginning of the year. It was getting Oscar buzz.
Oh, really?
That's way quieted down now.
Yeah, I think so.
Since we have a lot of releases.
Yep.
And I don't think a single person is really talking about this. I am glad we went to go see it because it's going to end up on a streamer at some point.
Yes.
Where it's going to have probably a nice second life, almost like that Otto movie, or like This Is Otto, that Tom Hanks movie.
Oh, right,
that had like a huge, not great box office, huge life on Netflix.
Yep.
Okay, so Rental Family, why don't you set it up, and we'll take it back and forth.
Besides my painfully obvious interest in this after spending some time in Japan this year, our director, known only as Hikari, was a draw for me here. We talked already about her experience with popular shows. This isn't exactly her feature debut. She did do a movie in 2019 called 37 Seconds.
Yeah, but
you know.
Yeah, exactly. For the birds, as you would say.
Yeah. I feel like the much more important piece, it's kind of for the birds. The much more important piece is actually that show work, because a lot of our Japanese cast comes actually from both of these shows. So I don't know if maybe any of that rang a bell with you as far as seeing them on screen, like from Beef and whatnot. I'm not sure if like the cast members, you recognize them.
I didn't recognize. No, not really.
Sure. But if any director was going to tackle how weird, and I mean really weird, rental subculture is in Japan, I'm glad that it was being done by a Japanese voice. The real world concept of renting a girlfriend, apology services, or specifically just like rental roles go back a long time in Japan and could come off very differently depending on directors, specifically maybe a little bit more tastelessly or kind of poking fun at it. But Hikari treats this with a very kind understanding, as both the characters and the audience slowly start to try to unravel Japanese life for themselves. Rental Family is a gentle coming-of-age movie that clearly is going for some Lost in Translation vibes, if anything, for just how alienating Tokyo can feel. Brendan Fraser plays a struggling actor 7 years into living in Japan, but still hasn't found purpose in the culture that surrounds him. The only reason why he moved in the first place was for a tacky toothpaste commercial that everyone recognizes him for, and like some other like B work and in roles and whatnot. That I also feel like is like 1-to-1 with Lost in Translation,
yeah.
Because, that's Bill Murray's type of, character as well. Hunting for gigs, he comes across Rental Family Inc., a surrogate role agency to fill the void in the many lives and needs across the city and for all walks of life. These roles vary drastically and become little staged events for the team that they have to puzzle together. Brendan's two biggest assignments throughout the movie are giving purpose to a retired famous actor and taking on the impossible task of being a little girl's fake father. Will he be doomed to be a gaijin for the rest of his life, always on the outside of the culture he lives in? Or will he use this opportunity to finally earn purpose for himself in the people around him? I think, surprisingly, what sold me, and I think we talked about this a little bit after this, is that it wasn't our lead actor that sold me. It was really our supporting cast around him, mainly for just how well-rounded the story becomes.
Yeah.
I was just surprised how many little arcs we get within this story and within the setup of, the Rental Family company.
Yeah, and we do get some bows that are tied.
Yeah.
It's a small story, but it goes full circle for everyone. Mm-hmm. I totally disagree on the Brendan Fraser thing.
Oh, really?
I liked seeing Brendan Fraser.
Okay.
I just wanted to see him on screen. I enjoyed him in this role. I mean, I did make the comment to you is there's not much range here.
Yeah,
it's not like he doesn't deserve to get Best Actor or anything like that.
Right.
To me, it's not because he's doing a bad job. It's just that's what the character is. But I enjoy seeing him as this character. I have to say.
Sure, I guess I wanted something a little bit different. So much of this character for me kind of just boils down into his real life persona, which is like very timid now, and I wanted to see just a little bit more range from that. And like we talked about right after the movie, I feel like he's the single reason we get a 50-50 split on languages being juggled between Japanese and English, when like even in the context, like especially talking to a kid, doesn't really make sense that we switch back and forth.
Yeah, but okay, but that's... Well, I mean, what do you want? Then it's just a Japanese film. That's not the point.
Well,
I mean, the point is to have an American living in Japan for 7 years.
Yeah. I don't.
Didn't bother me none.
Okay. I think just with Brendan Fraser, though, I mean, I wanted something just slightly different, even if he was maybe a little cocky or something like that, in him initially coming to Japan for this role or whatnot. I will say I was very happy with our extended Japanese cast, and I think they were just like really the standout for me. It seems like I said, our director was able to pull actors and actresses she worked with already on the TV side over to this project. So that definitely shows like successful collaboration there. Takahiro Hira plays the owner of the company, and kind of in addition to his other team members, becomes a lot of fun seeing the operations of how these jobs done. I think where the film absolutely hits a stride is when we're like seeing, you know, almost episodically, the little projects they tackle and whether they're successful or not, you know.
I could have used more of those.
Yeah. In an odd way, it was like I kind of wanted like way more of those in like almost like a TV style. Like you could do like a new project a week or something like that. I also absolutely adored the old man that Brendan helps out. It played by Akira Imoto. Honestly, for me, that side of the story felt more fleshed out than even the main beat, the main breath of him trying to be this fake father, which I thought was odd just in the sense that him being a fake father was like the only pitch from this trailer. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean that. Yes,
that felt like the main story where they're really like side by side.
But I mean, honestly, I like that. Don't give me the whole freaking thing because it is kind of a simple movie. But you're right. But even to your point of just like, I mean, even that guy who's not even in the trailer that you'd think that's going to be a main plot point turns out to be a relatively large plot point, and you get a nice bow on that story.
Yeah.
So it is. No, I mean, it does feel like we went to go see a nice, complete film.
You're right. Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? It's nice.
It was definitely a feel good flick. So I don't know. I don't really have any other notes on actors beyond that. And not really throwing any shade at our young actor that plays Mia, the daughter of this.
She wasn't great.
Right.
But you do what you can. You do what you can.
But did you have anyone else that stood out, even like among the crew or anything like that?
No, because it's barely any cast in this movie.
Right, and maybe that's where they're able to tie the bow on everyone.
Yeah, but I do like everybody. I like people in the office. I maybe the one was lacking a little bit, like the guy's secretary who works for the business. Mm-hmm. But as far as the owner and then the main chick, she was really good too.
Yeah.
So I agree, and I really like Brendan Fraser too.
Yeah. But a very cute, very hopeful movie. At first, I feel like when you're watching it, it might seem like there isn't a lot of substance to how things are going to be unfolding, or that you can kind of predict things how are going to be unfolding. And maybe that's even still a factor with the movie as it ends. But I will say the story holds a few surprises to tie everything together. Like I said, I think this was a pleasantly well-rounded story when it comes to giving every character introduced, even as like a side character, just a tiny bit of time to have their own arc and meaning within this story. And the more time we spend with them on screen, the more complicated their lives are revealed to be. And I would say finding purpose in those reflections is what the movie is all about. With that said, we're going to go ahead and give Rental Family a 67.
Okay, 67. This is a very cute, a very wholesome, a very feel-good movie. So we liked it, but it's hard to get excited about it just because it's not as funny I thought it was going to be a little bit more funny, and there's zero grit.
Yeah.
So I heard, I mean, I've said this now multiple times on the podcast, but I had heard this being compared to a Little Miss Sunshine-ish.
Oh, right.
And it also reminds me of, 2 years ago, the November release also, which was a Holdovers.
Yes.
Holdovers has more grit. And it has more comedy.
Yep.
Little Miss Sunshine has a little bit more comedy and definitely
a lot more grit.
And more grit.
Yep.
And this, I think especially, which is funny thinking about the director more, because Beef has like really good comedy in it.
Yeah.
And even just like not even done comedy, but stuff that will make you chuckle, stuff that is and plays in that sandbox. And we didn't really get any of that here. It really is, if you're looking for a soft, I hate to say feel-good movie.
It is
but
feel-good.
It kind of is. But there is a place for it. This doesn't feel junky.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
There's care put into it. And that's where I feel like there's care also in Hikari being a Japanese voice, kind of revealing this very weird side of Japanese subculture. You know?
Which I had no idea. I didn't know that was a real thing.
Oh, yeah.
That you can rent people or do
runs back to, I believe, the first occurrence of it was an emperor didn't have enough people for his funeral, so he started hiring people.
Wow.
Hiring soldiers.
Really?
And that's where it bred into.
Oh, wild. Okay.
Yeah.
But overall, a good movie and a cute movie. Just don't expect too much other than that. I mean, the one thing is, I don't know how much grit I was expecting, but I certainly was. I thought it really could have been more funny.
Yes.
It could have been.
Yeah, and I'm with you on the grit side because I feel like this does deal with sadness and finding meaning. It is a coming-of-age movie.
For sure.
But it could have leaned a little bit more into that.
It's very rounded.
Yeah.
There's not many hard edges on this film.
Exactly.
And again, there's a place for it. It is a mood-based film, and it's a good one to check out, I think. Yeah. And I think a 67 represents that, honestly.
Yeah. But exactly for that reason, I think that's where your observation of this doing better on streaming, whether it's like, let's put it on for the family, or...
I think it'll have a small life.
Yeah, I think it'll have a little bit of a bump. So certainly more than theaters. So
yeah, that's for sure. But okay, then. Well, with that, we're going to go right into our producer segment because we do have a couple producers to thank.
A couple
for this week. Yeah, it's been great. People are feeling very cheerful as the holidays go. But no, folks. So this is when we take a time to give a producer thanks. So anyone who monetarily donates into the Daily Ratings, donates to the show, you become an actual legitimate producer of the Daily Ratings. Because just like in Hollywood, when you financially support a project, you're a producer of the project. So that's how we're doing it here, because we don't want to be advertising based, where we're taking ad breaks constantly and shoving those down your throat and losing our soul in the process. And we don't want to have paywalls or pay like tier structures like a Patreon, because it forces people to pay a certain amount of money and get extra content, and everybody's on their own finances. And this is a show where everybody's going to be getting different value. Some people hop in and out of this show throughout the year. Some people are dedicated. They listen to every single episode. But the point is, everybody stops by when they want, to the website, to the podcast. The point is, if you're finding it valuable, can you show us some value back? So it is the value for value model that we're going on. So if you go to thedailyratings.com, head to the donations tab, everything is laid out there for you, where there's some set donations for Vin, but the big value for value button is right there. And like I said, everybody's on their own finances, so you can donate in whatever amount of value that you're getting, whether it's big or small. $5 is a lot of money to you this week. We really, really appreciate it. If $500 or $5,000 isn't even all that much to you, well, then still, we would really, really appreciate it. And when you do donate in, when you support the show and become a producer, you can send in a producer note as well. So this can be questions, comments, critiques, ask us anything, add to a conversation, start a conversation, whatever. If you're a producer, we want to bring you into the conversation, because that's also what being a producer is all about. So this week, one of our monthly donors coming in, which is Linda Schiller, always coming through with a movie ticket once a month for you, Vin.
Wonderful.
So that's $11.75. And Linda, we always appreciate it. Always thank you. And as always, write in when you feel like writing in or have something to say, and we'll, of course, read that on this segment. So we always appreciate that. It goes a long way. You've been a producer now for a while, and we appreciate it so, so much. You're an executive producer of episode 214. And then also, Vin, we have a new producer coming in, and he's given us $10 straight. This is Nick the Rat coming in.
Nick the Rat? He's got a title.
Man, Nick, it's... Bro, honor to have you. Thank you so much for being a producer of the Daily Ratings.
Oh, this was Nick the Rat that reached out on Twitter.
I guess, yeah, you're the Twitter guy.
Okay. I was like, who's this Nick the Rat?
No, but Nick, it's awesome to have you, man. So appreciate you donating in $10 and being a producer, and he writes in a little note as well. So Nick writes, I love the show! Exclamation point. Del Toro sucks. Where does Tom get all of his $2 bills? And did you guys ever talk about the fountain? The train of thought, I love. Where does Tom get all of his $2 bills? And do you guys ever talk about the fountain? Love and light, Nick the Rat.
Wow.
Love and light to you, brother. Thank you for the note. And thank you for the donation. So first off, we did cover the fountain.
Yes.
Which is
Aronofsky.
Yes.
On our first Aronofsky episode. So that's going back to when The Whale was being released.
Oh yeah, we covered The Whale. We covered Fountain. We covered
Black Swan.
I don't think did we do Black Swan?
Yep.
The Wrestler.
Yep, The Wrestler, and then Requiem for a Dream. That was the first.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So,
and then later we did Pi, his first one.
yes.
The director's first special.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so we did cover it.
Yeah. So go back and check out that episode. I've definitely. Speaking of Brendan Fraser, I kind of feel a little bit differently about The Whale now that I've had time to kind of stew on it.
What are you talking? You didn't give it all that. I think you gave it a 67.
Did I?
Wait, that's no. Rental Family got a 67. Did you get that?
67 is the
Follow
Fraser.
the breadcrumbs, folks.
Yeah.
The Brendan Fraser 67.
But either way, I think that's a good episode, and I certainly love talking about like that really prime run for Aronofsky, including The Fountain. So
Yeah, I've come to. Oh wait, when did we do Noah?
that was for second. That was for Caught Stealing.
Oh, Caught Stealing this summer.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
The Whale you gave a 71. You get what?
I feel like that deserves a little bit of a knock. I don't know.
Not worse? No, stop. No.
No? Okay,
Because I
okay.
watched it way after it came out. Like,
Yeah.
I watched it, I guess, somewhat recently. If you
Right,
call it.
right.
71 is appropriate.
Okay,
I
fair.
think 71 for that, and then 67 for Rental
This
Family.
is why I need approvals. I need.
You don't need approvals. It's called the daily ratings. You do what you want, but I'm telling you.
I need a second set of eyes then.
No. All you need is a guy that just supports you, because you just run it through these scores again, and you're just like, oh, I don't know about that.
I don't know. Yeah.
Anyway, to answer, so Nick Dorado says, where does Tom get his $2 bills?
Who knows?
So at first, when I read this, I thought he was asking, where do you spend your $2 bills? There's just a story behind that.
yeah. Unfortunately, there is.
But no, my $2 bills, what do? I went to my local bank branch, which is one of the nicer looking branches. I walked in, and there's just a guy sitting on a stool at a podium, like not behind a desk or anything like that. Yeah. And I was like, hey, man, do you have $2 bills here that I can convert to? And he goes, oh, we don't have cash. We don't have cash at this branch.
He's like, I don't work here.
I
dude.
said, what? I was like, what? And he goes, yeah, unless it comes from out of the ATM, we have no cash on location.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, you're a bank. And then...
Classic.
So I had to go to a different location, a much worse looking location, and they had cash. So I got $100 worth of... when did we even talk about $2 bills?
You know, I was going to ask that. What episode did we pull up this factor?
It might have been around a year ago, because this is when I got them.
Okay.
I went to the bank.
And it was like holiday spending.
I bought,
like
the woman at the counter goes, man, what do you even use $2 bills for? And I was just like, I don't know. I get them. And I was like, I get to put them in, throw them in a Christmas card or whatever, add them to a present. I said, I like them. But now, secretly, I want the $2 bill to make a comeback.
Okay, yeah.
And I hate $1 bills. I've always hated $1 bills. They've always taken too much. They have no currency anymore. It doesn't matter. $2 bills is much more hardy. And it takes a lot less $2 bills to get to the 10 mark or something like that. Where ones, it's a mess. It's a mess. And I had a good system forming.
Yeah.
I had a certain amount of money in my wallet. I always had a certain amount of 50, a certain amount of 20s, maybe 10, and then $2. I had a great setup.
The workhorse of the wallet.
It's a handsome-looking bill, too. Right? You got Thomas, you got TJ on the front, and then you have the signing of the declaration on the back.
Oh, right.
It is a great-looking bill.
Yep.
So
Too bad they are distributed pretty much exclusively in strip clubs.
So about a year ago, exactly, I'm having dinner with a guy named Vincent Daly. And it's my turn to pay, so I start bringing my cash out. And I put the $2 bills, and Vin goes, oh, you know that $2 bills is that's like a strip club thing.
yeah.
And I said, no, I said, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? No, this is a wholesome bill. This is a wholesome bill. And you said, no, you were like, well, inflation, they're not, the strippers don't, actually,
you can't make it rain with a one anymore.
Agreeing with my theory that $1 bills really are useless. So, and you're just like, no, they give them out at strip clubs, and that's what you do now. There's no $1 bills. So now I was just like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I got all that. This is a pocket full of $1, $2 bills. I said, oh, what are we going to do? So 90 seconds later, our young waitress walks over.
Yep.
Takes the bill, and she goes, I know who was at Silhouettes recently.
Yeah.
And I look at her knowing the answer, and I go, what is Silhouettes? And then she felt bad.
Tell me.
And she goes, oh, no, I'm sorry. She goes, no big deal. She goes, I went there for my 21st birthday, but it's a strip club down the street. And we started laughing because I was like, how do I unload? How do I offshore my $2 bills now?
Yeah, we need to dump them. You need you need a laundering service now.
And I did. I eventually got rid of them, but it's like, because then the bar down the street, I know the bartender a little bit better. And I was just like, what do you guys think of $2 bills? And
Same thing?
He goes, oh, we always laugh when we see him. He goes, we know it's strip club money. So it's just my whole I was going to make this big push for the $2 bill in our area, trying to make a comeback. I can't go up against Big Strip. You know what I mean?
No, glass half full. You have your lobbying base right there. Your strippers are your voting base for that.
No, I don't want that. Again, it's a wholesome bill. I want it to take over.
Oh,
it doesn't matter, Eddie.
You want it to be Coca-Cola and the Christmas commercial. You know, the polar bear is going to drink a Coke and then he's going to whip out a $2 bill.
That would make a great commercial. Anyway, so that's Nick. That's where I went to a local bank after I went to that same bank that didn't have money at that location.
That's so fantastic.
What'd you say with banks not having money at the locations anymore?
Oh, listen, we're going to get into a rant real quick if we go down that.
All right, Linda, we thank you. You're an executive producer of episode 214. Nick the Rat, again, so great to have you, man. You were co-executive producer of episode 214. If anybody listening, appreciates what we're doing here, is finding value, what we're doing at the podcast on the website, can you show us some value back? Because it does go a long way. We do have costs to upkeep and things like that, so it really does mean the world to us. Again, go to thedailyratings.com, head to the donations tab, and show us what kind of value you're getting. If you do send in a producer note, you can email us. That's tom.vin@thedailyratings.com. That is our email. So thank you guys so much. With that, V, I think, I thought I had something else to say, and I can't remember.
Around Wicked or around producer?
Probably the two. Honestly, probably on the whole $2 bill. But, I've been taken off. I think it doesn't matter anymore. Let's head on to the theaters.
I will say, the timing of that, as far as, us, me saying that, and then it's just
90 seconds. She came on and she goes, someone has Silhouettes. I mean, it's just like, oh, my God. Okay.
That's so good.
All right, let's go to Wicked for Good. I have not been on this journey with you. I didn't see the first Wicked.
No.
I'm not going to go see this one.
Yeah.
So my interest is very weak as far as, because it's a musical. My interest is high because I'm dying to know what you thought about this movie.
That's great. That's where I want to live. In zero interest to actually see the movie, but interest in my thoughts on the movie.
Okay, so Wicked, for Good. Everyone is back, meaning the director, John M. Chu. They filmed it around the same time.
Yes.
Ariana Grande, Cynthia Erivo, oh my gosh, Jeff Goldblum.
Yes, Michelle Yeoh.
And Michelle Yeoh are kind of our main characters. I always forget the name of the guy, but that guy is in there.
Which guy?
Just like pretty boy love interest.
Oh, yeah, I forget his name too.
Okay. Set up Wicked for Good. How was your experience? And tell us about it, V.
Sure.
Jonathan Bailey, by the way.
Jonathan, yeah. Folks, anytime we get a big finale like this, split up into two movies, I have always, 10 plus years, always called it Deathly Hallows Syndrome, of course, referring to the last two-part Harry Potter movies that was split up. Wicked not only hid this fact from the initial release last year, but perfectly resembles why I use shorthand to refer to this core problem, because boy, does it nearly have every single symptom. Taking a story and splitting it up to have two movies creates a whole batch of problems, but mainly when it comes to pacing, with the first entry last year already having trouble with pacing. We talked about this on the
2.5 hours, I think, that one.
Yeah.
And this one's 2:17, by the way.
Yeah, this is a little shorter, so that does help it, but has crumbs to work with as far as plot and none of the variety and really none of the anything that first movie had going for it. But the sequel just has so much more wrong with it. All of it coming from the fact that any aspect that was previously good has been halved, and anything bad has only gotten worse. Also, let me make it crystal clear. I fully stand by my review for that first movie. So much so that we actually reposted this as a standalone review on YouTube for the lead up to this episode. I was talking to you, Tom, about it. I mean, I think that whole Wizard of Oz episode was really strong if you want to go back and listen. Like, I loved listening to that because Wizard of Oz was such like a big property. Like, I'm glad that we tackled all of them, and like the weirdo ones, like Return to Oz and things like that.
Yeah.
When I criticize this movie, understand that it comes from the direct comparison of a movie I scored a 70 on the dot, and how seriously of a dropped ball the sequel has to follow up on that.
Can I cut in real quick?
Yeah.
Because I just want to make a note. The stage play of Wicked is 2 hours and 45 minutes, including the 15-minute intermission. It's a 2.5-hour play.
Yeah.
It's not a 4-hour play.
Right.
So it just, you know what I mean, for context.
Yeah. I mean,
they're stretching.
Absolutely, it's stressing. And the fact that, like, this is still obviously a box office smash. There's
more successful than the first one.
Yeah, there's definitely a split in critics and fans. Even just looking on like Rotten Tomatoes or something like that.
I disagree with that slightly.
Oh, really?
The reason being is, I feel like if you want to go see the first one, you have to go see this. Like, you're somewhat bought in.
Sure.
So it's like, why don't we just go?
Sure.
I think it was an element of that. And I think since it came out, because that first one had so much buzz, other people sought it out. And these are all the people who were like the repeat offender. They needed to go. People made an assumption that so many people, true fans, went to go see the movie 4 times in theaters last year.
Right.
Might be true, but I think there's a lot of people that saw it after theaters that feel like, well, Christ, I mean, I gotta go see the second one now. I wasted my time.
Yeah.
Or maybe I actually liked it. Maybe it will be okay at least.
Yeah, I think there's that diehard fan category. That's a big element of the success. There's also, I mean, it's prime real estate. Thanksgiving weekend for both of these things.
Yes.
I mean, this is a family-friendly watch.
Oh, it's going to do great this weekend, too.
Yeah, so...
Smart that it opened last weekend, really.
Exactly. Where I kind of tie that in is that I dread the aspect of we might get a third one. That's not off the table. That is not off the table. I feel like the answer is money, 1. But 2, doing more within the Wizard of Oz, just being a fantasy
expanding
world.
the story beyond. Because Wicked was a book, then a play, then a movie, correct?
I'm not sure, actually.
Well, it is a book.
I think play first, actually.
Okay. Well, regardless. It would be, I mean, obviously the third one would probably be better just because it's like, hey, we can do what we want now.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
But it does seem like, I covered this in the news show, Universal is going to be picking up Alice in Wonderland. And Sabrina Carpenter is on board for that. And
Sure.
I just, to my bones, I have a feeling that will also be part 1 and 2.
Yep.
And they're just going to continue the IP thing of like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's milk these. Let's keep these large IP musicals with big star in them.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. But folks, the jokes, they write themselves. Wicked Not Good tells the second half of the story of the Broadway musical hit, taking all those nostalgic threads inserted into the first film that were unique to the film, and growing them into a story that basically includes the original Wizard of Oz within it. We pick up with the wizard and Madame Morrible, continuing their persecution of Elphaba, now titled as the Wicked Witch of the West, being the convenient common enemy to keep the masses distracted. The Land of Oz has leaders who are not who they say they are, however, and wrapped up into their developmental power grabs are the many familiar faces we grew to love, now just kind of stepping in line. Whether they are given actual power or just serve as a figurehead, they contribute to the terrible crusade to kill the Wicked Witch, without any consideration of how they are being used in the scheme. But Elphaba knows the truth, and has true, genuine magic to show the Land of Oz they've been lied to, even if she realizes their minds are made up. I would say the 2 biggest takeaways I have from that first Wicked, and again, where I stand by it being scored a 70. I know that sounds maybe very generous for like a big flashy Hollywood musical.
I was shocked by it.
Yeah, but I really mean I can't.
Totally did.
I have faults in that movie where it's not higher than a 70, but I feel like it does hit the mark on a lot of ways. 2 key factors of that is its cute Harry Potter style magical school atmosphere, which again a perfect recipe for a box office success, especially over a holiday weekend. And while it's heavy in the musical side, The songs within it were time-tested at some of the best Broadway has to offer for the last 2 decades strong. And I feel like that is what separates that first Wicked and just Wicked as a property in general from the slop of musicals we've been getting as of late. And again, we commented on that plenty in that
theater
original
musicals.
review. Yes.
Yeah.
That, this is not only one of the strongest Broadway's has to offer, but like this has stood the test of time for, a good 2 decades now.
Oh my god! So yeah, I have it. Play started in 2003. The book was made in 95.
Okay,
Yeah,
there we go. Both of these aspects are critically wounded for the sequel, though, mostly because of how the story needs to be divided. But even worse, every ounce of nostalgia that was nodded to in the original, whether that worked on you or that bounced off you, has grown wildly out of control in this, as the story is burdened with basically including the 1939 film in the background of the events of this. I believe there is some of that within the Broadway play, but it's messy. I really mean it's grown way out of control, the nostalgia grabs to this. And this list is painfully endless. We get the origins of everything from the ruby red slippers, the origin of the yellow brick road, which was already a joke from the first one, origins for all of the original adventuring crew. Most of these boil down to a big fat who asked, but some of these are really incredibly stupid and seriously push this, I feel like, into outright bad territory. I can't talk about it too much for spoilers, but what this movie does with the original crew is really almost tasteless. I have kind of a serious problem what was done with the original forecast of the Wizard of Oz that is thrown into this, and specifically what they do with Tin Man and Scarecrow.
Yeah,
I had to act I mean this, Tom. I had to hold back laughter.
It was so dumb. It was so ridiculous,
so stupid, and so tasteless. It was unreal.
What is it gonna feel like for kids? Because it is directed at kids, let's be honest.
Sure.
Or a younger generation-ish. And not to shit on all the grown women that love to play. But more so,
right.
But kids watch The Wizard of Oz. So you have kid watch Wizard of Oz and then watch this movie because you kind of get some of the origin stories. Do things mesh? Because it doesn't sound.
It doesn't mesh. I think if anything, this is replacing that original Wizard of Oz entirely.
Oh, that's rude.
And that's where
that's very rude.
And that's what I mean. It's kind of tasteless. And actually, we commented on the episode that 39 Wizard of Oz already is deviating a little bit from the original Wizard of Oz in tone and how kind it was.
Oh, it was a book.
Yep.
Right?
I think so. Yes.
At the early 1900s.
I think it was
like
1900 on the dot.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Already got to re-listen to the episode. But so there's already deviation in the tone of this. There's no other word than tasteless to describe what happens with, again, the Tin Man and Scarecrow specifically. I mean, I don't understand where anyone was all right with this, and how oddly comedic it feels when you compare it to that original movie.
That's tough.
So I feel like, to your question, it's more of a replacement, and that's maybe even where the bandwidth goes for a third that comes down the road. So. Yeah, I know. I don't want it, but I think
money talks.
Yeah,
it's
money
studio.
talks. Absolutely,
it's universal. Yeah.
The problems with music are a lot easier to pin down, though. Again, it's just kind of a bad dice roll. Not only was that first film, and we talked about this, just jam-packed with back-to-back songs. There were sometimes songs in that first movie that are a 3-song string.
I mean, talk about my nightmare.
Yeah, that's where it's if you are not into musicals, this is not for you. So,
but the bangers are in, and my understanding is because the first part of the play also is much longer.
Yes,
and that's where the bangers are.
Yes,
the songs, to the point where they had to make up 2 new songs for this movie, and it's a shorter film. 2 new ones that were never in the musical.
Sure. I think even in the distribution, I couldn't examine what side is grabbed from which side, but the second half of the story, they're just nowhere as strong. It's a bad dice roll of what songs they had to, tack on to this second half. Again, don't get me wrong. I think, obviously, Cynthia and Ariana still have the singing chops, but I feel like even in the songs they flaunt that with are pretty much all throwaways. Like, seriously, I think they even got halved a little bit when it came to
probably
the type of songs that their skills are on display with. I would say pretty much the only notable track here is For Good, the title track, which, don't get me wrong, is a very pretty song. It's very recognizable. But that is one hit out of a whole-ass soundtrack that couldn't be farther from what worked last year when they were jam-packing them in. Like, it's almost like, all right, well, if you are planning this split...
Save some juice.
Yeah, save some juice is right.
Especially when the source... I had made this comment to you when we walked in to go see The Rental Family, where I was like, it's my understanding as well that it's kind of known that the second half of the play is a little bit weaker as well.
Okay, yeah.
So they're really being shot in the foot, where you look at Dune, and Denny was just like, no, Dune 2, just wait. Because they go way more places. It's much more of a bigger film.
Yep.
And to that, Dune 3, Dune Messiah, is even going to be crazier.
Sure.
So this one, they are pigeonholed in a way, but I just think that you could have rearranged or done something a little bit more smart.
Yeah.
So the two songs that were added, again, from my understanding, is the solo ones. So she has her one, Ariana, and then Arrivo also has a solo song.
Okay.
Those were the additionals.
Interesting. Well...
Which, I mean, it's almost like how you either make them pop, make them have, make them stand out.
Yeah.
But when you do these solo acts, and it's just, I can't imagine it's just helped anything.
Yeah.
It's filler. It probably felt like fluff.
It felt like fluff, but also it feels off balance from that original because, again, I feel like it was very noticeable, and maybe in a good way for the hardcore musical heads out there, that they were packing that first movie. I mean, again, there was I think at least 2 times that 3 songs are back to back to back.
That's rough. That just sounds bad.
I mean, listen, that's from...
Right, also, for me, it's not my market.
That's probably a dream come true for diehard fans of the musical, you know what I mean?
I
feel like there is a really a drop ball in organizing that, in managing the assets of which songs go to which side of this movie, you know? Really rough. I can tell you music-wise, it wasn't Jeff Goldblum singing, doing it either.
I was hearing some negative things about Michelle Yeoh, that she just doesn't have the pipes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah. They're all bad. Now, I feel like while this story is a musical primarily, the story also tries to be a lot more cinematic. It's where we get this animal polymorph plot line that's put into the first one and kind of comes into fruition for this one. It's where all the nostalgia grabs lie in that first one. That's where it's like leaning much more cinematic. And listen, I get that's where it fills its blockbuster role for the Thanksgiving box office, but I think where this, for me, possibly failed the most was in telling just a compelling story that actually makes sense by the end. You can see this really in Michelle Yeoh and Jeff Goldblum. They're a little bit more than a little to blame here, with very weak performances that needed to have more conflict, but... man, not compelling villains, not compelling to the story. It really doesn't help that Goldblum totally deflates as a villain about an hour in. And I mean that, like, deflates as
because
a villain.
of how they write him, or because him just looks like he's he's phoning it in?
A little bit of both, but mostly how they would say they write them. Mostly how the story
He's done
unfolds.
a little bit dirty.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, Jeff Goldblum sings. Like, he's a musician. He's like a jazz piano guy.
Right, yeah.
Right, you know?
But, man, really, they do both of these characters dirty as our main villains. A lot of runtime, like I said, comes from unveiling their evil plot. Additions to the story around the animal transmorphing and the, things included in that first that show behind the scenes that what they're trying to do, what they're trying to grow this to as like a full fleshed out story and a full fleshed out world. The problem is that evil plot really does not get resolved at all in this. By the end, the way things get resolved in this are so loose and so inconsequential, it made me wonder why they were building up these plot beats at all. Again, I can't really talk about it for spoiler reasons, but Goldblum deflates about an hour in, and Michelle Yeoh makes it to the end and then just kind of deflates. I mean, like, it really, there is nothing of substance here to the story and how it concludes. And no joke, I mean, in this way, the movie reminded me a lot of the Star Wars prequels, and that is not a comparison I make lightly. I mean, I'm not throwing out Star Wars prequels like
and this is
that's big.
You're talking episode 1 through 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, specifically even like episode 1. You know?
Well, honestly, I mean, just whatever you do, I think anyone looking to find some filler in a movie or try to garner more things in a film or whatever, animal subplots don't work. Case in point, Star Wars Last Jedi. Animal subplots do not work.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Stay away.
Don't do it.
Nobody really cares.
Yeah. Now, I mean,
right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Wizard of Oz is they have talking animals, so I kind of get a little bit of it, but all of these threads that they set up in the first and even kind of reestablish in this one, they go nowhere, and they are not closed in any sort of way. I think, again, that's where, unfortunately, I think we are pointing towards a third one, because I can only guess that they left them a little bit loose.
Can you do? I don't know if you can go against it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Can you add to Wicked though? Because then it's
would it be an entire soundtrack of all new songs? I don't know.
It sounds like a mess. Yeah, Vin.
Yeah,
it sounds like a mess. Yeah. I think you go do an Alice in Wonderland.
Sure. Move on.
Honestly, yeah.
Move on to another classical fantasy property.
It's too risky because the true Wicked fans might rebel.
Sure.
Think about it.
Yeah, absolutely. But like I said, there really is a divide because, you have... again, family-friendly, box office success, and kind of like a Disney adult crowd really like in tears over this. And I feel like everyone else, critics included, are just like, wow, this was a drop ball, and that's where I stand.
Yeah.
And if anything, a little bit harsher because I feel like there is a serious gap in quality between these two. And it feels like they ignored the things that were going correctly in that first one, whether they made them at the same time or not.
I think it has true fans pretty... just disappointed by it.
Yeah.
And really lackluster. Critics, I think, are like hating on it.
Yeah.
And then the fans are just like bummed.
Yeah.
It sounds bummed.
Absolutely. But seriously, all the way around, a much weaker sequel, which just has, I want to say, really none of the strengths that the first one had and still has and still is worth checking out for. I stand by that saying at a very positive rating. It's far less charming. It's lost nearly all of its like Legally Blonde comedy energy. Its offering of songs are nearly all a skip. Its conflict is a total throwaway. And its attempts to tie a bow on a story that engorges itself on not only a massive Broadway musical, but also a lifelong classic story is tasteless and tone-deaf. We're going to go ahead and give Wicked for Good a 32.
Whoa, yo, cool, a 32. What a drop-off. What a drop-off. Man alive. I mean,
I don't know if there's this big of a variance between
1 and 2s.
1 and 2s.
I mean, I'm sure there are somewhere on the site, but that is quite the drop-off. And I think your points are valid. I just have a couple questions as far as the CGI, the color palette. Does it even feel like anything is real? Does the CGI, is it just...
CGI is very heavy.
Vomitous?
Yeah, and it's a shame because there still are attempts to do a lot of practical effects work, whether it's the sets
Some
or
of the set
costumes,
pieces.
Yeah.
They do look like you could touch them.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. But I feel like in general, just because this does have some action to it, it is like kind of a bombastic finale, the CGI is at least just like a little bit more in your face. I can't say it's better or worse because I think production-wise, they are on the same level. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Both being filmed at the same time.
Right.
Similar budgets, stuff like that.
I don't know, just from the trailer, I was just like, it looks like a gobbledygook mess,
Yeah. It's what we talked about with Oz the Great and Powerful, where it's like this is just a theme park ride,
right? Yeah.
So
okay, 32% for Wicked for Good, Wicked for Life, as I called it before. Maybe that'll be the third one.
Yeah, for real.
Vin, looking at these scores, anything else to touch on? Roll credits next week. What's up?
No, I don't know, honestly. Next week, I think we're doing the Zootopias, and that's about it. Other than that, I mean, looking ahead to December, I have some things I'm excited for, but mostly just wrapping up the year, honestly.
There's some things, though.
Yeah.
I think even besides Marty Supreme, I think that we'll get some films.
Yeah. Marty Supreme and No Other Choice. That's
right. Did you hear about that?
What?
I think No Other Choice was supposed to come out somewhere around December, right around Christmas. It was supposed to come out.
Yeah.
It got accidentally leaked online, so they're rushing it. It's coming out December 8th now.
Whoa, I gotta change that.
Yeah, put that in your notes.
Yeah, absolutely. I still had it as a Christmas release.
Now, whether it's limited or not, but yeah, they're just like, screw it, just put it out then if it's leaked.
Damn. Well, I mean, maybe for the better, because I wouldn't mind doing a Park Chan-wook episode.
Okay, we can do that. Well, Knives Out comes out. I'm excited for Knives Out. I don't know why I shouldn't be, but it's Daniel Craig.
Wake Up Dead Man?
Yeah. I mean, why not? You know what I mean? Why not?
One more time around the world with this Southern gentleman accent that he does.
They're already chit-chatting about potential fourth one too, which they won't do for Netflix if they do a fourth one.
Oh, interesting.
Which I would be.
Was there any drama there with Rian Johnson and Netflix? Or?
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. It's the release schedule. He and Daniel Craig have been quite vocal how they wanted the second one to come out in theaters. They didn't allow it. Or,
that's
The
right.
2-week run, whatever.
Yep.
And then this one, they were even more vocal about it. Netflix still didn't budge. And Rian Johnson, as much as I can't stand him, was like, okay, I'm going to take myself elsewhere. And he's shopping around his other projects now with other studios.
Wow.
Not Netflix.
I will say that's good for him then.
And if they're working on a fourth one, I'll go see it just to be supportive of just like good for you.
Yeah.
Like get out of the system, take the IP and actually put it in theaters. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay. All right, Vin. I'm excited, and we'll have more animal talk next week, which is always exciting. Zootopia 1 and 2.
True.
Vin, thank you so much for these reviews. Again, happy Thanksgiving to you, man. And folks at home will run this down one more time. We've got Sisu, Road to Revenge with a 64%, Rental Family with a 67%, and Wicked for Good with a 32%. Always a blast, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. And we'll be here on Tuesday for the new show. And as always, we'll have Vincent Daly back here in the chair next Thursday on the Daily Ratings Podcast. And hey, if you enjoyed the podcast, if you would, give us a good rating or get the word out and tell a friend about us. And just a reminder that the Daily Ratings is completely producer supported. We want to stay away from advertising, and we don't want to have any paywalls or tier structures or subscriptions. It's all just value for value. So, are you finding value in what we're doing here at the Daily Ratings? Then become a producer and donate whatever amount of value that is. Just go to the donations tab on thedailyratings.com, and while you're there, be sure to check out the massive amount of films that Vince has rated. So thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you next time on the Daily Ratings Podcast.